So, what's up? It's your favorite inactive YouTuber. So for today's game, I actually decided to play something crazy, and I usually don't try to do too much crazy stuff on my main account. Well, actually, recently that's kind of been the pattern. That's kind of why I've been losing a lot of games on my main account at all this season. Like, a lot of games were lost because I was just messing around with different champions in my main account. I was basically treating my main account like a smurf. But anyways, I kind of got a little bit serious on my main account. Only stick to the champions I know I'm very consistent with, and I kind of leave all the like practice or like unrusting games to my smurf account. So for today's game, I'm not gonna be playing on my main account. I'm actually gonna be playing on my Smurf that's currently in Platinum 3. And for this game, I actually decided to play the new reworked Mordekaiser. And honestly, I was kind of a little bit iffy about the rework. I wasn't really expecting too much until I heard like about all these crazy videos that people were putting out like from the at the test server, where basically you could see Mordekaiser with 6 items beat a Yasuo with 6 items. I was like, wait, what? Really? A champion that can rival Yasuo with 6 items? Like, basically under any circumstances. So yeah, a champion that can 1v1 that hard, an AP bruiser. I was like thinking to myself, that kind of sounds like a different champion I really enjoy playing, and of course it's Rumble. I don't know what it is about AP bruisers, but I used to click with them a lot, except if their name is Diana. I freaking hate that like curved skill shot of hers. It's so bad to me. Yeah. So basically, what they did to Mordekaiser is that his Q is now like a ranged cone in front of him, kind of similar to what would be a good example? It's kind of like a Darius E, except it doesn't grab people back. It's just like a spell that does a lot of damage in front of him, and it does actually do more damage if only a single target get hit. So it's kind of like they got the Karthus Q effect, where like you do more damage if only one thing gets hit, but it does less damage if multiple things get hit, but it's always the same damage if it's multiple. So I kind of like that spell. The problem is that it pushes the lane a lot, and this is kind of why people kind of play him more mid lane than top lane sometimes. But this has kind of been historically a kind of a problem for Mordekaiser, because he pushes the lane a lot, and therefore he doesn't really go too well in top lane, because that means easy ganks for the enemy jungler. But anyways, there's this thing about Mordekaiser where they truly made him into like an AP Bruiser duelist. His ultimate is insane, and I love it. Like, I have so much fun with that ultimate. Anyways, before I get into the ultimate, Mordekaiser is just really good at laning at the moment. He doesn't cost any resources, which is another thing that I like about a champion. Rumble, no resources, although it has a resource management kind of with the heat. But, Mordekaiser, absolutely no resources. You don't even like your spells don't even cost health anymore like they used to. Now you use pure damage, like unfiltered. You don't even have to think about I don't know, whatever. You don't even have to think about how much you're spending or so. Maybe, the only thing you really have to manage with Mordekaiser when you're playing him now is that, your spells do push out a lot, especially that passive that you can see right now, the swirly thing. The swirly thing used to be Mordekaiser's old W, but now it's actually his new passive, which is basically whenever Mordekaiser hits with either an auto attack or a spell 3 times on a champion, his W comes out, which is basically an AoE magic damage aura, which also gives him movement speed. Anyways, there I can hit him. I can hit Nasus there with the sick E grab, and like Mordekaiser is just such a good champion for like punishing people under a turret too. Just because of like, for a melee champion, he's got a lot of range with both his Q and E. It's kind of like playing what would be a good example? Kind of like Swain, right? It feels like I'm playing a Swain that's kind of, I don't know, like better fit for like sustained fights, which is kind of weird because Swain is kind of made for a sustained fight. But I don't know, Mordekaiser's low cooldowns and just ridiculous amounts of like ability to just punish melee champions is just so much fun for me. Oh, and by the way, I accidentally did the wrong runes for this game. I did manage to get the Conquer runes on, which is the right rune for Mordekaiser, but I did use Ignite instead of Teleport. But to be honest, this actually felt alright, because I told myself Ignite is gonna be kind of good when dealing with Nasus when he does his ultimate. Anyways, yeah, completely or not completely dominating the Nasus in lane, but I'm definitely showing a lot of edge against him. He did start nomadic mentals. He was giving me a lot of respect. Anyways, Nasus wants to get that that one minion, so I'm like, nope, you ain't getting away from that. So I immediately ignite when I know he's low enough health, and then flash for the last auto attack. And of course, he is dice to my passive, my Q, and my auto attacks, and I think my E spell also was thrown in there at some point. Yeah. So wow. After I got that kill, I was like, wow, that was so easy. Now, let's be honest, I am also playing against one of the easier lane matchups, or early lane matchups, I should say, Nasus, because, you know, Nasus doesn't really thrive off of, what could you call it? Like early laning, right? Like, there's no champion where you just go, oh yeah, that champion, I'm gonna pick Nasus into him so I can beat him in lane, right? I don't think there's such a matchup, is there? Maybe if you play AP Nasus, but, you know, AP Nasus is kind of troll tier, so we're not really going to talk about that like it's a real thing. Anyways, this game, looking really good. Balling got a kill pretty much at the same time as I did. I remember being a little bit annoyed that it didn't kill faster so I could get, like, my first blood money, but whatever, you know, a kill is a kill. So this time I returned to lane with boots. Now, here's the thing, right? I really don't know what the hell I'm doing, because aside from that one video where I saw a Mordekaiser stomp by Yasuo 1v1, I actually didn't really understand how Mordekaiser's spells worked. And I was like reading up my spells in between like farming minions, and that's when I figured out that, you know, the E spell, it actually passively gives you spell penetration. Like, I think it gives you like 5% at level 1, and then it goes up by 5% each level. So I think it goes up to 25%. I might be wrong about that. But that's kind of what I remember off the top of my head right now. But basically, a free, like, voice staff nearly from just leveling your E. So basically, the order should be max your Q out so you can push out the lane hard and also punish really hard. And then max out your E spell so that you can, you know, grab in people much sooner and also, you know, scale a lot quicker against people who are building mag resistance against you, because trust me, people are going to build mag resistance against you. Like, this Nasus has already built a freaking what's it called, the Spectre's Cowl, and that's really effective against, you know, magic poke. The problem is a Spectre's Cowl is usually really good against mag damage champions that, you know, run out of their resources. But, you know, Mordekaiser doesn't run out of resources. He just keeps hitting. He doesn't stop. Like, it's pretty nutty. I feel like they're gonna have to do something about that, because honestly they're gonna probably up his cooldowns a little bit or something. I don't know. Because they're kind of long right now. I feel like they try to balance it like that, but it's kind of like you can abuse that way too much. Anyways, there I'm just trying to show dominance over Nasus, walking up to him, trying to punish him for his like any kind of move that he does. But I'm kind of noticing here that, you know, he's kind of holding his own ground. You know, he's kind of becoming the annoying tank Nasus, you know, life stealing through his free passive. And yeah, and I always told myself, this is probably going to end up becoming a push war. I just need to make sure that Nasus doesn't really get any, or as little farm as possible, while also just trying to do, you know, as much damage to him as I can. And here we kind of go to a close 1v1, and yeah, I ignite him, and it's essentially a free kill. Now, the unfortunate part about Spectator is that you can't really see what happens in the ultimate, but basically what happens is a huge, like, circle comes around the champion, and you can just go ham, you know, like, it's crazy. And yeah, I was like, wow, that was so easy. So basically what happens during the ultimate of Mordekaiser, Mordekaiser and whoever he targets, they get locked into a huge arena in, like, right where the ultimate starts. It's a big circle. The enemy laner or the enemy target that you chose cannot leave that circle. And while you're inside that circle, Mordekaiser actually steals 10% of your core stats, which is like AP, AD, attack speed. Basically, he steals a certain part of your of your stats, which kind of reminds me a little bit of a Trundle ultimate, except it doesn't just focus on health. I don't know if health was part of the core stats. I'm gonna have to look that up actually, because if it also steals health, that's ridiculous. And basically, if you kill the target while in the ultimate, you actually you keep those stats until the enemy has resurrected. So that can be pretty insane if you like steal, let's say, a really fed carry on the enemy team in late game, because, you know, in late game the resurrection timers are like a whole minute. So that's like a whole minute of having like a really fed person's stats. on Mordekaiser. Of course, only a part of it, but it's still, it's still a big deal, because you're getting all these free stats. So anyways, I got my Rylai's built out, and this is when I kind of started getting cocky, because I was like, I got Rylai's now, which is essentially the first core item from Mordekaiser. I looked around a lot, and it seemed like Rylai's into Liandry's is pretty much what you always do, no matter what. Like, those are just the items you cannot avoid. And here I'm just, like, testing it out. I'm like, holy crap, look at all these slows. This poor Nasus, I'm just gonna destroy this kid now. And, yeah, like, I was just feeling so confident. And I was like, holy crap, this is actually so fun. Now, here's a big miss that I actually didn't really pay attention to when I was playing the champion. Mordekaiser's new W, it took me a little while to understand how it worked, but as you can see, the little gray resource bar, it's kind of a thing that keeps stacking up the more damage you do, and also the more damage you take. So that gray bar just keeps going up and up and up and up. So what Mordekaiser's W does is that the first press on the W, it turns that gray resource into a shield. And if you decide to press the W again, it turns that gray shield, a percentage of it gets turned into health, but the whole shield goes away. So it kind of reminds me a little bit about Tahm Kench's E, right? Oh yeah, here, this tower dive was so bad, I actually end up ulting the Nasus under the tower, because I thought the towers do not work. Like, when I do my ultimate, I thought, like, they get excluded or something. But apparently in the Shadow Realm, towers do exist, so that was kind of like a lesson learned for me there. Mordekaiser's ultimate is not a free tower dive. I thought it was gonna work exactly like Poppy's old ultimate, which was basically nobody but your target can, like, do damage to you. And I think it was called, like, what was it, Noxian Diplomacy or something like that? No. Maybe not Noxian Diplomacy. It was something else. Anyways, I thought it was. I felt pretty stupid after that dive. I felt like Lee Sin kind of blamed himself for that. He thought he baited me, but honestly, it was just me not having read up or looked up Mordekaiser's skills enough. So I kind of ended up giving the Nasus a free kill there, and it kind of felt really bad because, like, oh man, I just made a fool out of myself in ranked. I hope I can come back from this, right? Because this Nasus is just stacking mag resistance like insane, and I'm like, damn, is my free magic pen passive really gonna, like, chunk through that? But yeah, decided to just, like, just try to farm it out, and maybe once I get Liandry's, maybe I can come back a little bit, because, Liandry's does do, like, that health stacking damage, which is pretty strong. Yeah, like, I just thought, wow, I probably should have read up more on that, on this champion, but I do enjoy discovering champions through my Smurfs. I don't know what it is about it, but it's just, when you play in ranked, even though it's a lower rank than you're usually playing, it just feels like everyone else is putting their heart into it. So it feels like I'm getting a real, like, how could you call it? A proper stress test, right? Because even if you're playing against platinums, golds, or silvers, usually most of them really do want to climb. So they're going to try their hardest, right? Like, they're just not going to give you free kills. Unless you're tilting, of course, but that happens in, like, pretty much any elo, no matter what. Anyways, here I get a little quick, like, catch on the Nasus, like, grab him towards me. Just try to do harass, like, see how far I can really, like, push this champion. Like, I just give zero respect when I play on Smurfs. I just don't care about Joan ganks or anything. Now, let's be honest here. There's also, like, the fault here that what's it called? The Nasus isn't really getting any ganks too, because at this point I am an easy gank. But here's the beauty about Mordekaiser, right? I think I kind of, like, I kind of alluded a little bit about it in my previous statements. I said that one of the biggest like, downsides of playing Mordekaiser, and usually in top lane too, is that he pushes out a lot just naturally from using his spells. And oh wait, I'm getting into a 1v1 here with Nasus. I was really unsure if I could take him on here, so I'm just testing my limits, and then I see someone teleporting to top lane, and it actually ended up being Alistar. But I was actually gonna lose that 1v1 there. I don't know if my ultimate would have made, like, a whole difference to that fight, but I was like, damn, I suddenly feel so small compared to Nasus all of a sudden. That magic item really did, magic resistance really did help him a lot. But then I was like, yeah, gotta regroup, rethink my strats. And I was also thinking about what boots to even build on Mordekaiser. And I actually looked it up. It seems like the highest percentage win rate right now seems to be Sorcerer Shoes, but they're also the least played. So it's usually between Ninja Tabbies or Merc Treads. Anyways, so what I was saying about Mordekaiser getting ganked being a problem before. The thing about the ultimate is that, you know, it does kind of exclude everyone else in the game from like interfering with your 1v1, right? So let's say you're like fighting somebody and suddenly they want to tower dive you, right? And then suddenly like the least comes around. So what you do is whoever is the lowest target or whoever is the easiest target to kill, you put them in the ultimate, and then suddenly, you know, the other person who was supposed to be the 1v2 in the gank can't do anything, and suddenly you're like in like a good what would you call it? In a good position, right? Because you're stealing their stats, and they have less stats, you're getting more stats. And they can't really get help from their other friend. So it's actually pretty like ridiculous when you think about it. Because a lot of people think like, oh wow, an ultimate that locks another person together with you, that doesn't sound that effective. It kind of sounds a little bit like Tom Kench's W. But the problem is, inside the ultimate, not only is more stronger, but like the person is also trapped in an arena with you. And here I'm just going ham on Nasus because I was like, oh, just forget it. I have Ignite and everything up. Just put ultimate. And I smash him really quickly. Even though he has, you know, the mag resistance item, I was like, damn, okay. I might have just found my new top lane main, you know? Like, it was kind of becoming Kled a little bit for a few seconds. But, yeah, this is just too much fun. I'm like smashing, like, someone who's stacking mag resistance. And now, I'm not gonna lie, it does feel pretty ridiculous playing Mordekaiser, and a lot of people are crying out for, you know, nerfs and stuff. I really do understand why they would want the nerf on this champion. I kind of think it's a shame that maybe they did overtune him a little bit, because I do feel like he's a really fun champion to play right now. It might also be due to the fact that, like, the Conqueror rune, it's actually really strong on Mordekaiser. Just the fact that like he has so many spells that can, you know, interact with the enemy, it just means that he stacks it up really quickly, which then means that, you know, a lot of Mordekaiser's damage is going to become true damage. And, you know, I'm not saying that his entire damage is going to be true damage, but, you know what I mean. A lot of it is going to become partially true damage, which might not sound like a big deal when you hear it like that, but in the long run, the more you get stronger, it does really do add up a lot. And I don't know, I just feel like it's a shame. Maybe it would be different if like the runes were a little bit different, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I really hope I am wrong in thinking that Mordekaiser is OP and like I'm missing out on some like champions that really do hard counter him. As far as I can tell, in top lane, the ones that give me the most problem from what I like researched after playing this game is Fiora, Malzahar, and who else was it? I remember there was one more champion. I don't really remember. Oh wait, I think I still have the website up. Oh shit, hang on, I messed up a little bit in the camera here. Oh, Tryndamere. I guess Tryndamere does kind of make sense, right? If you kind of snowball against Mordekaiser, even he puts you in the ultimate, like all Tryndamere is gonna do is ultimate himself, right? Basically, champions that are really, really, really good at 1v1s are the ones that can actually give trouble to Mordekaiser. But I just feel like if you let kind of Mordekaiser get rolling, it's really, really hard to deal with him. But yeah, I guess I can kind of see Tryndamere and Fiora giving trouble, and especially Malzahar, because his Malzahar is crazy amounts of pushing, and you know, yeah, okay. I kind of wasn't paying attention to the fact that my team was just completely ending the game before like 20 minutes here. So yeah, this game was kind of a stomp in all lanes except maybe mid lane. It seemed like mid lane just got like a bunch of ganks. So yeah, but you saw that top lane though. There was very minimal like jungle interference, and basically you could argue that my jungler made it worse for me, but I still managed to come out on top. So I was really happy with how this went. Anyways, that was my Mordekaiser rework gameplay. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and of course, if you have any opinions, feel free to leave a comment. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I'll see you guys for next time.